Welcome to today's class on budgeting, the second in the series of 6 classes. I'm Tom Carlton. I've been instructing classes for over 5 years at WorkSource, revolving around topics like job search, workplace soft skills like conflict management, teamwork, personal workplace accountability, communications, and a little bit on personal finances. Now, please turn to page 27 in your participants guide. Now, this is an optional pre-training survey you can take, and then at the end of the class, there's a post-training survey to test what you've learned. You may pause this presentation to complete the survey and return when you're ready. Welcome back. First, we will look at income, ways to receive income, how to keep track of your income. There's an additional section on how to read and understand a pay statement that you're welcome to use if you like, but we won't be covering that in this class. It's part of Participants Guide. What is income? Income is the money you receive. And what are some types of income? You can make a note in your journal. So you may have thought of several different types of income. Here are a few that we'll go over. Earned income, wages from a job, tips, or what you make through self-employment. Income from assets or investments. Assets are things you own, money you earn from a savings account, for instance, or maybe someone pays you to borrow your lawnmower or your pickup truck. Some people also earn money from stocks, bonds, business, real estate, cryptocurrency. Public benefits or entitlements that pay money. Examples include temporary assistance for needy families, commonly known as TANF, Social Security Disability Insurance, commonly known as SSDI, and Supplemental Security Income, commonly known as SSI. Public benefit programs have requirements and rules. Having knowledge of those rules helps you to plan and manage your income. It is worth the time and effort to carefully review the program rules you need to follow to keep the benefits. Talking with your benefits counselor is also recommended. Other benefits or entitlements. This income may make it possible for you to buy or receive food or use public transportation. These are things you would have spent money on. So even if you're not paid in cash, benefits can be considered a form of income. They free up money to spend on other things. Examples: childcare subsidies, bus pass subsidies, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also called SNAP, Special Supplementary Nutrition Program for women, infants, and children, or housing assistance, utility assistance. Other income, such as gifts, child support, and alimony. The income you take home is generally less than the earned income you make from working. Gross income is your total income without deductions. Income is gross income minus deductions such as Social Security and income taxes. Net income is what you have to save, share, and spend. Net income is also called take-home pay. There are several ways to receive income: cash, paper check, direct deposit, payroll card, electronic benefits transfer, for instance, Venmo. Let's identify the pros and cons to these 5 common ways to receive income. Come up with the pros and the cons. Pause your presentation and then return when you have those. Welcome back. Pros: for cash, generally accepted in person, available to use right away, can be deposited in a checking or savings account that offers federal deposit insurance and other benefits, could load onto a prepaid card. If you just stick to spending the cash you have, you can avoid spending more money than you have. Cons: could be lost or stolen. It's tempting to spend cash. Can be more difficult to track for personal budgeting and tax purposes. Can't be used for online purchases. Not all bill payments can be made in cash. And doesn't build a positive credit history. It's harder to get a loan when you need it. Paper checks. Pros: can be deposited in a checking or savings account that offers federal deposit insurance and other benefits. Could load into a prepaid card. Cons: if you deposit a paper check in an account at a financial institution or onto a prepaid card, you may not be able to use the money right away. Paper checks may be lost or stolen before you can deposit or cash them. You may have to pay a fee to cash the check if you don't have a checking account. Direct deposit. Pros: often the fastest and safest way to get paid. Funds are usually available immediately. It may be easy to automatically split the direct deposit between a checking and savings account, which can help you build your savings. You don't have to pay fees to cash a paper check. Some financial institutions may waive some of their account fees if you have a direct deposit. Cons: there may be fees associated with the account the direct deposit goes into, although many financial institutions offer safe accounts that have no or low fees. Payroll cards, also called pay cards, which your employer loads with the amount of your net pay. Pros: safer and more secure than carrying cash or checks. The payroll card has full federal consumer protections for funds taken by error or theft. Cons: there may be fees associated with the card, such as to use the card if you don't use the cards frequently. Requires some extra effort and possibly fees to get cash when you need it. You can find out about fees associated with the card by reading the cardholder agreement that likely came with the card. You can also review the information online at the provider's web address. Some users of payroll cards avoid card fees by transferring the full amount of their pay from their payroll card to their financial institution account shortly after the money is available. And lastly here, electronic benefit transfer EBT cards, which some programs use to pay benefits. EBT cards are loaded automatically with the benefits payments. Pros: safer and more secure than carrying cash or checks. Cons: you likely do not have a choice. If a benefit you are being paid is done on EBT card, that may be the only way you can receive it. And not all merchants accept EBT cards. Some EBT cards have fees to use them. Be sure to understand what fees are charged and if there are ways to avoid fees. Many people receive income from multiple sources. For example, you may have more than one job, you may receive public benefits, or you may receive gifts. Making a list of your income helps you to plan how you will save, share, and spend it. Knowing how regular the income is can also be important. Regular income refers to income you can expect to receive every week, every other week, twice a month, every month, or on some regular schedule. Regular paychecks and Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, benefits are examples of regular income. There's also unpredictable income. This income that varies in amount and or timing. Pay from hourly work may be unpredictable if the hours vary from week to week. Here's another example. Some people may only receive child or spousal support payments sporadically and in varying amounts, even though they're supposed to be paid regularly. Seasonal income may be predictable, but it comes only at specific times of the year. Perhaps you always receive money from a friend or family member around the holidays. Or you may sell crafts at a fall festival in your community, or be employed as a package delivery driver during the winter holidays. You may also have one-time income that you only get once. And examples: lottery award, inheritance, a lawsuit award, settlement, or an award for back payment unemployment compensation. Another example is pay you receive from working at one-time jobs, such as helping people move. Keeping in mind whether each source of income is regular, unpredictable, seasonal, or one-time can also help you with save, share, and spending it. Now, if you would turn to Apply It, my monthly income log on page 13 of your participants guide. Now, you can use this log after today's training. Apply It, my monthly income log. List your sources of income and amounts you receive for a given month to get a better idea of your total income. Check whether each source is regular, unpredictable, seasonal, one-time. This will help you plan for future months. You may have to do some math to get monthly amounts if you receive income on schedule other than monthly. You have a table for calculating monthly amounts on the next page for help. Again, use your payment statements, contract or self-employment records, public benefit statements, and orders of alimony or child support to help you accurately complete this. We will discuss different types of expenses and ways to manage your expenses now. What do you do with your money? What do people do with their money? Go ahead and journal some ideas on that. Think about your expenses. And sometimes that can be stressful, especially if you're worried about making ends meet. Understanding where your money is going can empower you to make choices and changes. In the long run, it can help you reduce stress about expenses. Ways to think about expenses. Saving it. You can save your money to build an emergency fund to help you in case of a major reduction in income, such as a job loss, or to pay for a major unexpected expense. You can also save money for short-term goals like back-to-school expenses or long-term goals like retirement. Sharing it. You can share your money with friends, family, charities, or others. Spending it. You can spend your money now to pay for basic living expenses like food, housing, utilities, and debts you owe, or other things you need or want. We'll use the term expenses to include all three of these ways to using your money. It is sometimes also helpful to think about your expenses in three different ways. Needs, things you must have to live. Wants, things you desire and can live without. Obligation, debts you owe. Now, people consider needs and wants differently. For one person, a smartphone might be a want, and another person, perhaps someone with a disability, might need the apps on their smartphone to work or live independently. For that person, our smartphone is a need. Asking yourself if using your money for a need, want, or obligation can help you consider how you want to use your money. Sometimes we may not be sure if something is truly a need or maybe just a want we wish were a need. Sometimes we must make difficult choices. Once you've identified some items as need, you can think about less expensive ways to meet those needs. Once you've identified some items as want, you can think about whether you want to use less of your money for those items. And once you've identified some items as obligations, maybe you can negotiate payment plans or other arrangements if you can't make your payments on time. For example, people may fall behind on child support payments. One option might be that they work with a child support enforcement officer to set up a payment plan that can reliably achieve. Now let's look at tracking expenses. Tracking your expenses helps you understand if you are using your money in line with your values and goals. Remember from the prior class? Tracking your expenses may also uncover where you can make changes, perhaps decreasing spending so you can save or share more of your income. Tracking expenses also has another unexpected benefit. When you track your expenses, you can usually spend less money. We'll look at two tools that can help you understand how you are using your money. The first tool is Apply It, My Saving, Sharing, and Spending Diary. Now, using this tool, you'll write down how you use your money for a certain period of time. A month is usually a good place to start. A second tool, Apply It, My Monthly Expense Log. This tool helps you put the amounts from your saving, sharing, and spending diary into categories. Once you've completed these tools, you can consider making changes to how you use your money. Now, let's look at these tools more closely. So turn to Apply It, My Saving, Sharing, Spending Diary on page 16 in your participant guide. This is the first of two tools that will help you understand how you are using your income. You can complete it after today's training to track how you use your money each day, again, preferably for one full month. Later in class, we'll look at other ways you can use it to track your expenses. Your saving, sharing, and spending is likely different at different points during the month and from month to month. For example, your rent may be due the first week of each month. That's why it helps to track your expenses for at least 1 month. To do so, you can make additional copies of the tool, depending how many weeks are in the month. Try and remember about significant expenses you may not pay every month. For instance, sometimes car insurance, back to school preparation, or more costly utility bills in winter. In the rightmost column, there's a place to identify each expense as a need, want, or obligation. This can be helpful to re-examine how you use your money. Look at wants to make sure the ways you're using your money aligns with your values and goals. Turn to Apply It, My Monthly Expense Log on page 18 in your participant's guide. Now, use the information that you put in your previous tool, Apply It, My Saving, Sharing, and Spending Diary, to complete this monthly expense log. This will help you organize and categorize how you use your money. This is an important step to building a spending and savings plan. Grouping things into categories makes it easier for you to decide if you want to make any changes. The expense log is separated into sections for saving, sharing, and spending. Use the notes column to write down how you could change an item or other notes important to you. You may have to do some math to get monthly amounts, and there's a table calculating monthly amounts to help you to do that. For some rows of the log, you'll need to add several entries for a diary. For example, you may need to add up the costs from several grocery trips to get the monthly amount for the row for groceries and household supplies. And you may have expenses that don't fit into any listed categories. So there's extra lines there for you to create your own categories as you need them. Now we're going to take the second step toward managing your expenses. You could do this by making payments in advance of their due dates to help you avoid late fees, interest on unpaid balances, negative credit report entries, loss of services, Additional charges associated with loss of services, such as higher fees to restart services. Now we're going to look at the monthly payment calendar as a tool for managing your expenses. So what process do you use and how happy are you with it? Go ahead and journal on how you manage your expenses. Now there can be different ways to pay bills, including in person, by mail, electronically, and perhaps using a mobile app. You may be able to pay in person using cash, money order, check, debit, credit card. Some bills can't be paid in person. Some people like the assurance of paying bills in person. In person, you usually can use any form of payment. If using cash, make sure that you get a receipt or some other proof of payment. You can pay by mail using a check or money order. When paying bills by mail, remember the time for the payment to arrive. Now, checks are forms you can complete that instruct your financial institution to take the money out of your checking account and pay it to the person, organization named on the check. You need to make sure that you have enough money in your account to cover the check. We know that. With a money order, you give the amount of the money you want to pay someone plus a fee to a bank or store or the post office, and then you use the money order that may look like a check to make the payment. You can pay electronically. These payments may be one time or you may have them done automatically on a regular schedule. There are several ways to set up electronic payments. For example, you may be able to set up a payment through your account at a financial institution using their bill pay service, set up payments through your credit card website, set up payments directly through the entity you owe money to, given your bank account number, your debit card number or credit card number, or use a separate bill pay service. When you pay electronically, you are either giving your financial institution permission to pay the bill by taking from your account, or giving a company permission to pay the bill through your credit card or bank account. For example, you may allow your utility company to withdraw money from your bank account or charge your credit card to pay your utility bill every month when it's due, or may give you financial institution or online bill pay service information about where to make the payment, and then send the payment electronically based on your instructions. You may make sure that, you want to make sure rather, that you have enough money in your account, of course, to cover the payments or enough credit available on your credit card. Paying electronically usually provides a record of payments. It reduces the chance of being late or missing payments. However, you still need to be careful about safety and security. Only pay bills through trusted services. You can also use a mobile app, which is another way to access online bill payment or set up an automatic or one-time payment. Be sure you know what fees could be charged depending on how you decide to pay your bills. And no matter how you pay your bills, you may want to use a monthly payment calendar on paper or mobile app to keep track of your bills and how you pay them. If you use a monthly payment calendar, write down when you need to mail, send electronically, or pay an expense in person. This will probably be before the actual due date. If you plan to pay your bill by mail, enter the expenses due on your monthly payment calendar several days before it's due to allow for mail time. The person or business you owe money to must receive your payment by the due date. Receipt by the due date is what counts, not the postmark or when you mail the payment. If you plan to pay your bill in person or use automatic payment, online bill payment service, or mobile app, enter the expenses due 2 or 3 days before it actually is due to allow for processing time. Sometimes you can pay bills online, in person, or with a mobile app on the same day without incurring a penalty, but be careful with that. Try it, making a monthly payment calendar on page 22 of your participants guide. There's a scenario with Juan Carlo uses a monthly payment calendar to take charge of his bills. So go ahead and pause the presentation and answer the questions after you read the scenario, and then come back. Here are some, welcome back. Welcome back. You can see here are the keys to the puzzle. Let's just look at a few of them. You can read through those on your own and pause the presentation, but we see Juan Carlo had a rent payment. Monthly amount $845 is due October 1st, and the method is in person. So he has an entry that on September 29th, on the Monday, he's going to pay the rent in person 2 days early, and he has the amount of the payment. So you can see each of the timing differences based on the method used. Okay, here are other useful resources, tools, and calculators. One of them is on worksourcewall.com. It's called a budget calculator. And when you put your entries in for your housing and utility expenses and your other expenses and loans, it will generate a hourly rate, target rate, in order to break even. So you minimally need that hourly rate in order to break even on your expenses. So that can be a very useful tool to use. Here is a wonderful tool, website, that has lots of resources. There are different Excel templates, and I think some of those are available also in Google. Vertex 42. So check out that website, and you'll have some free spreadsheets that you can download and use. Have fun. And here is another tool, mint.com, or more accurately, mint.intuit, INTUIT.com. And this website, why is this website so powerful? Let's look at it. Well, it's free. It's easy to budget and manage debt. It has useful graphs. You can see your spending. You can analyze your income and spending. You can find opportunities to increase your network. And furthermore, it has both a mobile and a website application. You can personalize your categories of expenses and income. You have current data from all your financial accounts. Have easy to set and track financial goals. You can find savings from all your financial accounts, and it even tracks retirement and investing. Additionally, without even signing up for an account, there's all kinds of resources, tools, and calculators you see listed on there. Mortgage refinance tips, financial tool tips, investing tips, credit tips, calculators, retirement calculator, credit card payoff calculator, and so forth. Even a student loan calculator. Using mint.com. Well, they have YouTube videos to help you, short videos. If you go to YouTube and look for mint.com, they got their own little website that has all these short videos, less than 2 minutes, many less than even a minute long, that help you to use their website on how to create a budget, how to manage your bills using Mint, adding an account within Mint, how to review your monthly spending, how to set a goal. It even gives you one of the budgeting techniques, which is the 50-30-20 rule, and it shows you how to do that. beyond mint.com. There's alternatives. And here are some of those listed on this slide. And this came from a website, robburger.com/mint-alternatives. The 8 best mint alternatives for 2023, free and paid, December 22nd, 2022 by Rob Burger. But on here, a few of those. Personal Capital, he rated as best overall alternative to mint.com. Monarch Money, best for couples, so you can get more than one person's financial accounts combined. Countabout was the best for converting data from Mint if you're going to move away from Mint. Simplify, best budgeting app for smartphones. And the last one, You Need a Budget, YNAB, is best for budgeting. Now here are some budgeting plans and some links to videos were also sent to you. 50-30-20 plan, envelope plan, high five banking method, the zero-based budgeting plan. And take and watch those videos and then come back and return. You can go ahead and pause. Welcome back. One of them is actually an article, not an ad, not a video, but that gives you an idea. So the zero-based budgeting plan, to give you a little more explanation about that one, you take your monthly income and use every dollar in a deliberate way, like saving a certain amount for a trip and paying for utilities and groceries until there's $0 left. But if you don't strictly use cash as an envelope method, you'll have to log an expense and make sure that you have that on your budget. And the budget app such as YNAB and Every Dollar can help you follow a zero-based budget. Also, that other website we referred to, vertex42.com, has such a budget plan. So how do you decide which one to pick? You decide how much effort you're willing to devote. Consider how much time and maintenance a budgeting system involves before you get on board. Some have strict requirements, while others are more flexible. For example, Excel spreadsheets and the zero-based budget demand frequent and detailed expense tracking. The pay yourself first system and apps that sync to your financial accounts require less upkeep, like the mint.com or YNAB. You need a budget.com. Still not sure which budget system is best for you? You know, some experts say that there's no need to follow a specific budgeting system as long as you're aware of your important details like income, debt, and goals and general spending. If you live within your means and know that you're on track to reach your goals, then tracking every penny is probably overkill, says this Catherine Hawley, a certified financial planner in Monterey, California. Quote, she says, you don't need to know that every electric bill was exactly $83.82 last month. You just need to know that you're the kind of within some general parameters, and I think you can always be a relief to people, she says. Okay, so this is pretty close to the end of the presentation. You know, you are more likely to make some changes if you act immediately. So consider writing down what you intend to do of what we've covered during today's training. Take a few minutes also, to fill out this action plan on page 24 of your guide. What will I do? How will I do it? And will I share my plans with anyone? If so. Again, thank you for attending this financial literacy training, budgeting, or your income and expenses. Please take a few minutes to complete the feedback survey and optional post-training survey. Any feedback you give us, if you could email using the same link from the class, that will help us maybe to make further improvements to future trainings. For those of you that took the pre-training survey and then take the post-training survey part, here are the answers to the questions. Number 1, your net income is how much you earn before taxes and deductions. False. Number 2, there are only 2 ways to receive income, cash or check. False. Number 3, there are only 2 ways to pay bills, in person or mailing a check. False. And number 4, income includes, and it was A, B, C, and D, which was money from working, public benefits that provide cash assistance, cash gifts, and tips. Now, here are a few areas we're going to be covering for the next presentation. Number 3, making a monthly spending and savings plan, ways of increasing income, ways to decrease expenses, what to do when money is short. That's huge. You learn how to prioritize which bills to pay first based on what might happen if bills are not paid in full and on time. Thank you.